Welcome to our Crypto News in 10, a daily podcast bringing you the latest news about crypto in under 10 minutes. Here's what's moving on Friday, May 22, 2026. Near Protocol is unveiling an upgrade that lets the chain scale itself, no governance vote required, and the token is ripping. Bitcoin's volatility has sunk to a 7-month low, even as headlines scream macro risk. XRP-linked ETFs are quietly pulling in money, while Bitcoin and Ether products see outflows, and there's a notable spike in new XRP wallets. Security watch ZachXBT says a Polymarket-linked wallet got drained for about $520,000 on Polygon, though the team insists user funds are safe. And in crypto equities, Cathie Wood's ARK just bought $12.5 million of Bullish stock over 4 days. Let's get into it. Story 1. Near's self-scaling moment. Near Protocol says dynamic resharding goes live in June, meaning the network will automatically add shards as demand grows, without the weeks of validator coordination that used to be required. The team frames it as laying rails for an AI-driven on-chain economy where bots trade with bots at human-unfriendly speeds. 2 other tidbits: the same upgrade adds post-quantum safe signing to harden accounts against future quantum computers, and the token reacted fast, up roughly 27% to 30% today, around $2.24 to $2.25, making Near one of the day's best performers among large caps. CoinDesk also notes fresh demand from Europe's Bitwise Near staking ETP, which pulled about $7 million this week, according to CEO Hunter Horsley. Why it matters: dynamic resharding tackles a top 5 problem for layer 1s, how to scale without human bottlenecks, while the quantum-safe layer is becoming a narrative of its own across crypto. If you've watched post-quantum headlines pile up this spring, Near's timing is not accidental. Story 2. Bitcoin calm in a noisy world. BTC's 30-day implied volatility, tracked by Volmex's BVIV index, has slid to about 38%, its lowest since October 2025. What's pushing vol down? Traders point to 3 forces: easing geopolitical stress, persistent institutional demand led by MicroStrategy, ticker MSTR, and a wave of systematic call overwriting that keeps a lid on options prices. One striking stat: MicroStrategy has reportedly bought roughly 171,000 BTC so far in 2026, versus about 63,000 BTC mined in the same period. Supply that doesn't reach open markets tends to dampen whipsaws. With WTI crude still under $100, options desks are basically saying, range-bound until proven otherwise. If you trade around events, that compression can be a setup. Cheap options are attractive when you think the next move will be bigger than the market is pricing, but compression can last longer than you expect. Keep that in mind. Story 3. Is capital rotating into XRP? New ETF and on-chain data suggest maybe. XRP-linked investment products saw about $42 million of net inflows across the past week, including $8.9 million in the latest session, even as US spot Bitcoin ETFs lost another $100.9 million, and Ether funds shed about $32.6 million. On-chain, sentiment flagged a sharp one-day jump of roughly 4,300 new XRP wallets, one of the biggest spikes this year. Price held near $1.37 into Asia hours, while Bitcoin hovered around $77,400. The open question: sustained rotation or just a brief speculative burst? For a second data point, Cointelegraph also highlighted the 4,300 wallet surge, calling it the 4th largest daily spike of 2026. That aligns with the ETF flow picture, while reminding us to separate durable adoption from short-term excitement. Before we continue, here's a message from our sponsors.
Need elite developers fast? Elite Coders connects you with rigorously vetted senior engineers in 24 to 48 hours. Staff augmentation, dedicated teams, or full project delivery, we've got you covered. Visit elitecoders.co to get started today.
All right, let's get back to it. Story 4. Security watch. Polymarket incident. Blockchain investigator ZachXBT flagged a suspected breach involving Polymarket infrastructure on Polygon, with a little over $520,000 drained from 2 contracts and routed through an attacker address he posted. Within hours, Polymarket devs said the issue was tied to a compromised private key for an internal ops wallet that handles rewards, not the core market contracts, and emphasized that user funds and market resolutions remain safe. Polygon's CTO Mudit Gupta echoed that assessment, saying the core contracts weren't affected. Addresses associated with the drain and the attacker were shared publicly as the team worked the response. If you use any platform with reward or payout programs, today's lesson is simple. Segregate keys and minimize permissions. Most losses we see in these adjacent wallet incidents aren't about a protocol-level flaw, they're operational. But they still sting. Story 5. ARK buys the dip in crypto equity. ARK Invest added another $5 million of Bullish stock yesterday, bringing its tally to $12.5 million of BLSH purchased since Monday. The shares, which closed at $35.96 on Thursday, are down roughly 17% over the past 2 weeks as Bitcoin struggled to clear $80,000. ARK is known for leaning into weakness, and this week looks like a textbook example. Note that Bullish is CoinDesk's parent company, a detail disclosed in the report. Why include this? Because crypto's market structure keeps professionalizing and flows into listed crypto platforms are another signal of how institutions are positioning. Whether you hold tokens or equities, tracking who's buying when things feel tired can be telling. Quick reset on levels before we wrap. Bitcoin is hovering in the 77,000s after a brief trip below $77,000, with analysts watching $75,000 to $77,000 as key support. Derivatives data suggests the latest drop looked more like a leverage flush than full-on capitulation, with open interest steady and funding muted. Macro, higher long-end yields and oil remains the main headwind to a clean breakout. That's today's run. Near Prep's self-driving scalability and quantum-safe signing, Bitcoin's volatility compresses. XRP ETFs soak up flows as new wallets pop. Polymarket's ops wallet scare looks contained, and ARK leans into crypto equities. We'll keep watching whether this week's calm turns into a bigger move or just extends the range. Thanks for listening and see you tomorrow.